dickage. The boss patcher, unless he wore some carnival helmet fashioned from keratotic skin, had no neck, the approximate features of a bullfrog, and 2 penises. Nauseating, Netherson said, expecting no reply from Rainey. Perhaps a little over 2 meters tall, with disproportionately long arms, the boss had arrived atop a transparent penny farthing, the large wheels hollow spokes patterned after the bones of an albatross. He wore a ragged tutu of UV frayed sheet plastic flotsam, through whose crumbling frills could be glimpsed what Rainey called his double dickage. The upper and smaller of the two, if in fact it was a penis, was erect, perhaps perpetually, and topped with what looked to be a party hat of rough gray horn. The other, seemingly more conventional, though supersized, depended slackly below. Okay, Rainey said, they're all here. Between the oculi of the twin feeds, Lorenzo was studying Daedra in profile as she faced the 5 folding steps to the top of the Moby's railing. Head bowed, eyes lowered, she stood as if in prayer or meditation. "What's she doing?" asked Rainey. "Visualization," said Netherton. "Of what?" Rainey asked. "Herself, I'd imagine," said Netherton. "You cost me a bet," Rainey said, getting together with her. "Someone thought you might. I said you wouldn't." "Well, it wasn't for long," said Netherton. "It's like being a little bit pregnant," said Rainey. "Briefly pregnant," said Netherton. Daedra raised her chin then and touched almost absently the color-suppressed American flag patch over her right bicep. "Money shot," said Rainey. Daedra took the steps, dove smoothly over the railing. A third feed irised into place between the other 2, this one from below. "Micro," Rainey said. "We sent in a few yesterday." As Daedra's parafoil unfurled red and white above the island, "The patchers let us know they knew, but nothing's eaten any yet." Netherton swiped his tongue from right to left across the roof of his mouth, blanking his phone. Saw the unmade bed. "How does she look to you?" Rainey asked. "Fine," he said, getting up. He walked to the vertically concave corner window. It depolarized. He looked down on the intersection, its wholly predictable absence of movement, free of crusted salt, drama, atonal wind song. Across Bloomsbury Street, a meter-long mantis in shiny British racing green with yellow decals clung to a Queen Anne facade, performing minor maintenance. Some hobbyist was operating it telepresently, he assumed. Something better done by an invisible swarm of assemblers. "She seriously proposed to do this naked," Rainey said, "and covered in tattoos." "Hardly covered," said Netherton. "You've seen the miniatures of her previous skins. That's covered." "I've managed not to, thank you," said Rainey. Netherton double-tapped the roof of his mouth, causing the feeds left and right from their respective corners of the square to show him the boss patcher and his cohort of 11 looking up, unmoving. "Look at them," he said. "You really do hate them, don't you?" she asked. "Why shouldn't I?" said Netherton. "Look at them." "We're not supposed to like their looks, obviously," Rainey said. "The cannibalism's problematic, if those stories are true, but they did clear the water column, and for virtually no capital outlay on anyone's part. And they now arguably own the world's largest single chunk of recycled polymer, which feels like a country to me, if not yet a nation state. The Patchers had shuffled into a rough circle with their scooters and kick bikes around their boss, who left his penny farthing on its side at the edge of the square. The others were as small as the boss was large, compactly disgusting cartoons of rough gray flesh. They wore layers of rags, gray with sun and salt. Modification had run rampant, of course. The more obviously female among them were six-breasted, their exposed flesh marked not with tattoos, but intricately meaningless patterns expressed in pseudo-ichthyotic scaling. They all had the same bare, toeless, shoe-like feet. Their rags fluttered in the wind, nothing else in the square moving. On the central feed, Daedra soared down, swinging out wide, up again, the parafoil altering its width, its profile. "Here she comes," said Rainey. Daedra came in low along the widest of the intersecting avenues, the parafoil morphing rhythmically now, breaking like speeded up footage of a jellyfish. She scarcely stumbled as her feet found the polymer, throwing up puffs of salt. The parafoil released her, instantly shrinking, to land on four unlikely legs, but only for a second or two. Then it lay there, bi-lobed again, logo uppermost. It would never have fallen logo down, he knew. Another money shot. The feed from the micro closed.